previous videos we learned about what is Power BI, why we are using Power BI, then we understood the concept of data transformation. Then next we learned what are the scripts, how we can connect the data through those scripts. We understood the concept of Python, machine learning, and made one simple visualization through Python also. Next we learned about data modeling, like what is data modeling, why we should do data modeling, and what are the schemas and different kinds of things that we learned. Now in this video we are going to start with the DAX. DAX stands for Data Analysis Expression. So we are going to learn what is DAX, why we are using it, and what its need is. Everything we will understand this. Next we are going to learn about measure. So what is a measure, we will discuss it. And then there are DAX functions that we will apply and see. So what is DAX? DAX is a formula language. We can say it as a formula language. We have different kinds of functions. Through those we have to write formulas, and then that formulas are being executed, and new columns or new functions, whatever the functions we are making, on that basis new columns are being created. Now even though we can create custom columns or conditional columns in desktop Power Query editor only, but still why we are using DAX? Because DAX has some advanced facilities. So that is why DAX is also present in Power BI. We can create custom calculation. Based on calculation we are going to create columns. So that is why it is said as in the DAX we can create custom calculations. So creating custom calculation is possible with the DAX. Now it is mostly designed for data modeling. Why it is designed for data modeling we will see when we will enter into Power BI interface. Next, now why DAX is important? Because it enables complex calculations. Now whenever we are going to perform the function or write any of the things in the DAX, then we will understand like why complex calculations can be created, or the columns which are difficult to calculate and create, those can be created easily, so that we will understand it. Then it creates custom matrices. So we will see how it is going to be done in Power BI. And then it is essential, it is important for building interactive reports. Our main focus is like we have to build reports, right, or dashboards. So it is important to build any of the visualization. Like if we connect any of the table, then we can do visualization. Same if we create any new column, it should be connected, right? So to connect that we are going to perform DAX functions on it, and then we can create visualizations through it. Now let's we will understand what is measure, but before that we will go in our Power BI desktop. Here I have opened Power BI. So what I have to do is I am having a different file. I'll take that file. It is in CSV form. So how we are going to take it? We can connect it from here also, from get data, as well as from here, or even though we have the option to connect the data from here also. So we are going to get data. I am having a small file through which we can understand the things easily. Here I have this sample sales data, so I'll open it. This is the preview of whatever the things are present in my file. Like I have order ID, a date column, customer name column, product, category, quantity sold, price, revenue, cost, and profit. These are some of the things, and as this table is small, so we can understand the things more clearly whenever we are working. Now here delimiter is present based on first 200 rows. Now what I will do is I will go with this transform data option. I can also do with this load option, but it is good practice to go with transform data. we will at least do some of the things, or at least we will check our data, like what if there are any null values or anything that can be cleaned. So to check the data, what we can do is, we learned in the last video that in the view this section we have this mono spaced show white space, column quality, column distribution and column profile. If we enable these things, then we can understand that if a column is having any empty values, or if a column is having any error. So those things we can understand with this view data preview. So now I have enabled this column distribution, and with that I can see that in this column I have 10 distinct and 10 unique values. So it is okay. There is no need to change anything in this data or add anything. So here also it is okay, here also it is okay, here also. Based on this also you can check if your data is having any problem, or there is need to work on that data, or like any other things, or whatever the requirements are there, according to that also we are going to change our data. So for our purpose, like we want to perform DAX functions and measures also. So in that cases, right now I don't want to add or do anything here in data, in Power Query editor. So what I am going to do is I will just close and apply. Now I have not made any changes, but still I will go with that step. But one thing I want to do is that I want to change the name of this table. Like I will just keep this as sales. Okay, so I have just changed the name, and one thing that Power BI has automatically detected and done by itself, that is it has promoted the headers. Change type, it is also done by Power BI only. Change type means it has detected the data type as well as changed the type of that column. So there is no new thing that we can do over here, so we will just go close and apply. Now so far we have just took a data and then loaded it in the Power BI. We'll quickly understand the concept of measure, so it will get easy for us to work on it. So what is measure? Now whenever we are performing any DAX function, then we are creating a new column. But what is measure? Measure means we are creating a new value. So value and column are two different things. Measure is to when we want to create just single block, then we are using measure. Like for example, if we are having any now let's consider as we are having the profit, we are having the profit column, and if we calculate total of that profit, right, like we are having 2-3 values in that profit column, and if we create new column and we want total profit, then what it will happen when we perform just a DAX function, it will create a new column, and in that column the total profit, which is like one only number, right, we have to we are adding, so we are going to take only one number where we are calculating that profit. Like we will get a sum of that, a total count of that. Total count means it is just one value, right? But what happens when we perform DAX, when we will use that DAX function and then create new column, in each of the row it will add that same value and create a column. That will only take our extra space and there is no need of that, right? But what happens when in measure? Now we want to remove total, so we will take this measure, create a new measure, and it will be connected directly to our model, like in the table modeling section there. So if we create any measure, then we can directly go and visualize it. So that is thing that measures are being created. It is like calculating values dynamically, means those things which we create in measure. In measure also we have to write a DAX function only, but if we create a measure, that thing is not going to be viewed in that table. So you will see that how it is not going to be viewed in that table. But we can create visualization to that value, that whatever value we have calculated from a measure. So how measure works in Power BI? Measure performs aggregations and calculation. Aggregations in the sense are like sum, count, average, min, max, those. For that purpose measure is used. Like we want to, if we want to count or total count we want, then it is a single value, so we can take a measure and then take that count. So commonly used for totals. If we want to remove any of the total or final count or just one fixed number we want, then we can use a measure. So it is commonly used for totals, averages, percentage and ratios. We will see that. So next we have is calculated column. Calculated column means in the sense that a column which is being calculated through DAX function and measure, the difference between these two things. Aggregation, in the measure we have aggregation works across tables. So whole table, on that table the aggregation function can work. But what happened in the calculations, like we have limited aggregations to that table. Like if we perform, then we will create a single column, and based on that column only, in the calculated column it will be created. But what happens in the measure, it can take the whole table's counts. So that is only said. Calculated when used in report, as well as this calculated when data is loaded. Now we have loaded our data, right? So now we have loaded our data, like we have took that sample sales file and we have just changed its name, and then we are ready to perform any other things on it, right? So whenever, now we can directly perform DAX functions on it, right? So then that is only here it is said as calculated when data is loaded, and a measure can be calculated when used in report. Now not stored dynamically. It is not stored in the table. When we perform any of the DAX function, you will understand that it is not stored in that table. A new measure, whenever we create it, we cannot see that, but we can use that or access that or any of the block in the visualization screen. So it is not stored dynamically, and whenever we calculate only a column with your DAX function, then we can see that column in the table. So here it is said as stored in the table, and here not stored. Now using a measure is more efficient than calculated column. So column, in the sense we have numerous values in the column, right? And just a single block. If we want to remove just a single block and value and then use it, then it is more efficient. Like we have no need to sort, or we don't have to check it that how many values are correct, and all those things doesn't come over here in the measure section. But that can come in this calculated column, right? We have to check every block that if the values are correct or not. Then that is why here it is said as can slow down the performance. Now where measure is used, it is used in visuals as well as aggregations, and calculated column we need it in relationships and filters. So we'll understand this thing. Now what type of functions are there in DAX? DAX means we know that data analysis expression. So there are different functions that are date time function, like if we want to work on any of the column based on the date, then we can use date time functions. Whatever date time functions are there, we will see. Then we have text functions to work on the alphabetical values, the text values. We have this text function. Information function is there. If we want to remove information based on any column or any other thing, then we can use this information function. Mostly used ones are date time, text, filter can be used, aggregation is mostly used, logical is also used, math and trigonometry. These are the mostly used ones, but it depends according to the requirements or according to our needs, whatever we want to do with the data. So, or whatever the visualization we want to create, according to that we can use these functions. So we have filter function, aggregation function in the sense like addition, subtraction, min, count, like those things we can perform in this aggregation function. Time intelligence function is also there. Then logical function is there. Logical, like if we have to give a logic to that, you have to give any condition, like we have seen in the conditional column, like we have created a condition, and based on that condition we have been creating a new column. So that is the thing over here. Lookup function is also there, math and trigonometry functions are there, statistical functions are there, financial functions and other functions are also there, but those are not much needed. So now what we will do is we will go in Power BI. Yeah. So you must have understood the concept of DAX as well as measure. Now what we are going to do is we are going to perform some DAX functions and create a measure in this video on that table. Now you have viewed this table, we have changed the name of this table. You can see here that we in our data sets we have this one file. So what we are going to do, where we are going to create these DAX functions in this table view. Here you can see that we have model view, right? And in this model view, as we have took just a single file, so this we can see that it has created a table. This is a model view of the data set or the file whichever we have loaded. We will take it, consider it as data. So our sales data's model view is being seen over here. So in the last video we also discussed about schemas. So if we have a single table, then what type of schema it is? It is flat schema. So there are three different types of schemas, right? There is star schema, snowflake schema and flat schema. So this is, as we are having single table, so this is the flat schema. Now here in this table view, you can see the whatever the columns are there in our table and the things which are data. In short, we can say that whatever the data is present with us, we can see it over here. And here you can see this in this calculations, you can see here, like if you want to create a new table, if you want to create a new column, new measure and quick measure, these are the options over here. You can see that I am having a table and its name is sales over here. If you want any other things, then also if we also go in this home section, then also we'll like if you want to get any data other than this, then we can add it from here and then again go and work in the Power BI query editor, and then Excel file if you want to take this SQL server, one lake, also this data hub is there. If you want to enter the data manually, then also we can do recent sources. You know, we have learned it before also, transform data. Like if you want to again go into editor, then we can do this. Manage relationship is not possible from here. So what we are going to do is we will now, as we know that what kind of functions are present in the DAX, so we will one by one try some of the functions of DAX and see what are the changes being done in the this table. So first function, first we will start with the aggregation function. Aggregation in the sense like we can count sum, then total count, addition, subtraction, those things we can perform. Now addition, subtraction can be done with the numerical values, right? So we can take only this order ID. Now order ID, do we need to count order ID? These things we have to understand by itself only. So this also column we cannot take in the aggregation function. So based on these columns only we will do some of the aggregation. Let's count sum. So how we are going to create a first DAX column, like we will say that how our first calculated column will be. So we are going to click on this new column. So here you can see that this new column has been created, and here you are being asked to write a DAX function or DAX any formula, whichever you want, like what values you want in this column, then you have to define it over here. If you have like write or wrote the function properly, then you can click on this commit, and if you want to cancel it, then you can click on this cross. Now whatever the name we want to give to our column, we can give it from here. First we will count like total sales. So what we are going to do is we will give this as total sales. This is the name which we have given to our column. If we will press enter, then this column here over will be changed and as total sales. Now what we are going to do is sales. As we want to remove total, so we have to do addition of some of the thing or any of the different columns. So what we are going to do is we will just simply write over here as sum. Now you can see there are many different functions available and it is showing us that what you can do. We will just simply select this sum. Now in the sales table, it is showing me that I have this sales table present over here, and in that these many columns are present. So of which column do I want to remove the total? So what I will take is I will take this sales, and the now price as well as quantity sold cannot be taken, right? Revenue I will select, and I will just I have to close this round bracket over here. So this and when we have completed our formula, we can just click over here, commit, as well as if we feel like a formula is wrong or if we want to change, then we can cancel it over here. So now I have wrote my formula. I will just simply press enter. Here you can see that total sales is being generated based on the revenue column. So as I said before, that why do we need a measure, right? Now we have removed the total of this revenue column through this revenue column, right? But here can you see that if we are removing any total, then we can get it only a one single block, as if it would have added one block over here and there it would have wrote that 4,370, then also it would have been okay, right? Total sales. But here can you see it in all the rows it has giving the same value only, and it is being repeated. So is this column needed to us? We only need one value. We don't need a column of a single value, right? So that is why measures are created. Measures cannot be seen in this table view, but you can see that in over here in the data sets or in your data. You will see when we create a measure, the measure you can see it over here, and we can also create a visualization through that measure. Now we have removed the total sales, that was not needed actually, but still. Now what we can do is we will again take a new column. This is the DAX function. DAX function, like in the DAX we have aggregation function, and through that aggregation function we have sum, and that we have removed total. Now next, what we want to give name to this column, we will let's say we will remove average. So I just have to write 2 or 3 alphabets of average, then also it will show me like whatever the things are present in that aggregation function. Like I can now, as I have wrote this AV, so it is showing me based on that what I can do with the data. So I want to remove average, right? So what table do I have and which column I want to perform the average function. So here also I will take a revenue, and let's see what we have. Now here it has automatically detected that I have sales table, so that is why it is showing us. I can simply select this, and then I have to complete my formula by closing its round bracket. So if I click enter, then I can see this new column is being added, and I have got the average. Average is also a single value, but it is showing me in the table. So it depends upon the requirements, that what we need to remove or how we want to change our data or shape our data. That depends on us, and then we can remove the values or create the new calculated columns based on that. Now next we have is we can count. Let's see some of the things, different things also. Like if also we change it over here only, then also the values over here can change. Like if I will remove this and I will give any of the other function. Let's see if I can do what other aggregation function. Let's take this count, sales, revenue. I don't want revenues count now, it is showing again and again. So what I will do is I will take any other column. So what other columns are present over here? Orders, IDs, count I don't want, date count also I don't want, this text functions, text data types I don't want those counts. So quantity sold I can count that, revenue, total sales. These new columns also that have been also added, and I can count them too. but I don't want. I will take any other. Let's just take for this for just our understanding. Yeah, within that average only it has changed the things. Okay, so first you have seen that there were different values, and here you can see that there are different values. So we can change our formula or make changes in our formula there itself, also in that specific column also. So these were some of the aggregation functions. If you want to see more things, whatever the aggregation functions are there, then also you can just write here one of the alphabet, and you can see that what are the different things we can do on that column. So these are the aggregation functions. Now next what we will try some different functions. Let's keep this and take a new column. As I was changing that, that is why it is showing error, and I pressed enter, so that is why it is showing error. So what I will do is I will just delete this column only. So how we are going to delete this column over here? We just have to go on that column and right click over there. You can see that we have sort ascending, sort descending order. So these things are available over here, so we can copy that whole table. From here also we can create a new measure based on that column, but we are not going to create right now. We can rename it, edit the query. This is the query that we wrote, right? So we can create edit it from here also. So I want to delete it, right? So I will delete this average. It is asking me if I want to, and I will simply give it the permission. Next what we will do is we'll again let's take any new thing we can do on it. Let's perform some of the logical function on it. Now in the logical function, as I said before, that we have to give a condition. So based on that condition, it is going to perform or create a calculated column. So first what we will do is we will just remove the sales, the highest sale we will remove. So what we are going to give the name, that we will just give hi and sales. We will give this name as like this, and then we have to give the condition. See if it is already showing. If I click on this, if it is telling me that what I have to enter the values and in what format do I have to enter the values. So what I will do is I have this table only and one table. So what's that table's name is sales. So I will just take sales, and in sales of what thing I want to calculate, or on what column do I want to give a condition. Based on this column I am going to give condition. So that is why I have selected this revenue, and I want a new column in which I want the values like a particular number, and if values in that column are high, let's just write first, then we can understand it. So I want to remove a calculated column like based on sales. So what I will do is I will give it condition, like if in my revenue column there are values which are greater than 800. So what I will do is I will just give condition to it. So if we want to give any text values in our function, so how we are going to give? We are going to give in this double colons. So what we will do is we will write what we want to give the values in that new calculated column. So and if you want to change any of the expression, or like if you want to change the from one condition to the next condition. Now this sales revenue is greater than 800. This is one condition. Then this is the next thing which I am writing. So here also now I want to give the next value. So what I will do is I will just simply write here as low and complete my formula or the DAX function like this. So this is the DAX logical function, and I will press enter. So here based on this revenue column, if my revenue is greater than 800, then it has printed high, and if it is less than 800, then it has shown as low. Here you can also, now here if any of the column, in any of the column there is 800, no, there is no 800, that is why it is not being confused. But let's see if I change the value over here similar to that of let's take 400, what it will, sorry, 400. So what it will show, I will just simply change it over here only. So here, can you see that this 400 it has considered as low, but we don't want it, we want it as high only. So what we can do is we can change a condition, like we can give it as greater than equal to. See, you can see here that it has changed from low to high. So based on our requirements, we are going to change our conditions and write the functions. Next we will see that any other function. In logical function we have switch column. So what if a formula is larger than one line? So how we are going to write it, that we will see. Now let's keep this, like we will take a new column. So here, now what name do we want to give it? Now let's see what we can give it. Let's give it a sales category. Now based on this category I am going to perform this function. So in the logical function we have switch in the sense like here you can see that high, low, and based on that condition. So here switch means we are going to switch from one condition to the next condition. So that is why we are going to use this. So I have the switch function over here. I will just select it, and here you can see that it is showing me that in what format do I have to enter the values. So I will write it as true. Now when you want to take new line, so how you are going to, if you press enter, then it will directly calculate and add whatever the things based on their formula in that new column which are you creating. But we want to take new line, so what we are going to do is we will press shift and enter. So we can take new line whenever we are writing a DAX function. Now in this, what I want to write is sales revenue. I am writing that same formula only, but just some other with this switch condition I am going to give. So revenue is greater than let's take 800. Then I want to write it as high. So how we are going to write text values, that we know, right? Then next we want to again take a new line. So how we are going to take is we will press shift enter. So again in my sales I want this revenue. If revenue is it has array, so I have pressed shift enter and it is so here I have to give the value, like which column I want to select. So I have selected the sales revenue and I want it. So if it is greater than, let's say, 200. So these are multiple conditions I am giving. On that basis it is going to calculate, right? So here I will write it as medium. So it is going to categorize the things by itself, and then we will get a new calculated column. So this is a DAX function. More than one line I have used. This is the switch case. So let's press enter and see what happens. Is it giving us any error or yeah? So it has categorized the things based on this formula, DAX formula, and then it has calculated the sales category column. So based on this revenue, if revenue is greater than 800, that was only a condition, right? If revenue is greater than 800, then we can get high. If it is between 800 and 200, then it will show us medium, and if less than that, then it will print as low. So it has created this new calculated column. This is said to be as calculated column. Now next we will see some of the text functions. So based like this category is there, this product is there, and this customer name is there. So based on what we can perform, any of the like what are the functions which we can perform on this calculated this text columns, text data type columns. So we'll keep this, we'll again take a new column. There are different functions available for the text values, but we are just going to understand some of it. Let's first let now name be like column only, like we are going to delete it but it is just for understanding purpose. We have this length, so we are going to take it. Now I have just a simple table and say a single table, so I will select that table, and in that which column is having text values, I will select that. Now let's take this name and then complete our formula. So I am just going to remove the length of it in this new column. So here you can see that I have selected this name, right, and in there text values are present. So it has given me the length of the value present in this column. So first, this Alice has 5 alphabets, so it has shown me here the count of it, so length of it, that value present in that column or that row. So here it has shown me 5. Next, what we can do is we can change a function here itself, change our formula here itself in this column only. But if we don't, then we can write new also. For right now, I will change it from here only. I will take, if I want to, let's replace. Now it is showing me like in what kind I have to enter the values, like old text, start position, number of characters, and new text. So this is not, these are not the perfect arguments which I have given over here. So I have to change it. So what I will do is I will take sales. Now I have to take any column that is in the text, right? So I will take this customer name only. Then I have to give the next, like from what character I want to count the values or like perform the next function. So that. So here I am taking it as 3, then 2. These are just random values. There is no any of the thing that. Now text values, how we are writing in a function, like with what character do we want to replace the third alphabet of our this column of this names. From here it will change it. So we'll let's take it as, it is like we are adding prefix to our names, prefix not suffix to our names. So let's take it as, right, this is just for understanding purpose, don't take it seriously, and we will press enter. Here you can see that whatever the values which I wanted to replace are being replaced over here. From the third position it is wrote this thing, that whatever I wanted to replace with, from the third position I wanted to replace just the 2 alphabets. So it has done that. So here this is how we are performing some of the text functions. Next, if we want to change anything to the uppercase, so that also we can do, same we can do with the lowercase also. Now let's change this category column to uppercase. So how we can do this, we'll do it here only. See, you can see it over here that it is already showing me. If I typed here as lower, then also it is showing this. So I will change it into uppercase as it is already in the lowercase, right? So I have to select the table and then what I want to change. So this time we were going to decide like what was the name of it, name of that column, category, right? Let's see. Yes, category is there. Oops, it has already printed. Enter. Yeah. So now we can press So here when we press enter, you can see that all the things which are present in this category column has been changed into the uppercase. Now we can keep this column, and we can, if we want to remove this, then we can remove it. So based on our conditions, we are going to change or modify our data with these kinds of DAX functions. We can also add these columns when we are performing, like we are in the query editor, but still there are some of the advanced calculations needed to be done, and that can be done with the help of DAX only. Like how we have seen that measure, removing total. Like in sales, we don't wanted to remove this value, right? We just wanted one total count, but we didn't wanted like this column of that total. So that is the thing. We need DAX as well as measure also. Next we will perform some of the date time functions. Let's see what we can perform on our date. Now what we will do is we will keep this, we will take a new column. What we will keep this, let's take it as day count. I too don't know, but still let's see what it will give us. Now we have here day, and in that we have to enter the date. Now where is the date in a sales table, right? We have the column, specific date column, so we have to select that. If we type the date manually, that also is okay, but in a column where date column is there, in a table where date column is there, we have to enter that. So we are adding day count. So here this, it has counted the day and then created this new column. Let's perform some other functions. So if we want to remove year from our date, so then also we can do that. What we will give this name? Let's just keep it as whatever it is. We have here this calendar also, like we can remove the things whatever they are based on this date. So what we have to do, select, we have to select this date. Then it has shown us like what we wanted to, like how we have to enter the values. So we will we have to give 3 conditions to it. So we have, for starting date, we have to give the starting date. So our starting date is in this date column only. Our ending date is also in this date column only. So we don't have 2 different columns. So here again I am selecting this sales and date column, and now I have what I have to remove from these things. It is asking me, like if I want to remove date, day, month and these many things, I will select this date and it has automatically filled the formula. So this second column number 2 will be created, and based on this formula there will be values. Let's press enter and see what values are being entered. So here you can see that it has also given us time, like calendar function, it has performed the thing. Next what we will do is we will remove year. If from any date column we want to just extract this year, so how we are going to do? We have year function also. This year we will select it and we have to give that column. So we have this column and in this table, so we will select this, and so values in this will be changed. See, it has only extracted the year from the date column. So these are some of the functions that we are performing. If we want to remove today's date, like we can keep it, right, when we are performing, to keep our status, we can also do that. So if we want to enter in a column which will show the date, present date, so how it will do? So we have here current date also. How we can do that? We will just, we have this today here, and yeah, this formula has been complete. We just have to press enter. So what today's date is, it is being seen over here. The new calculated column will be created and then that date will be shown. Next what we can do is we can perform some mathematical functions. Like if you want to round, let just we'll just remove a round up number of one of the things. We have that also. So those like mathematical functions are present, we will just make one. In this existing only we will create. So we have here this round function, and here what I have to pass a number and number of digits. So of what column in the table, like I have to take this table, the numerical values, like I can, let's take this price, and then what round number I want to remove. Mostly it is 2 only, so that is why I will use this, and I will create this new column. Now I don't have values in the decimal, so it is not going to show difference than this price column. See, if the values which were present in this price column, it were in the decimal, or the like number present over here was 700.00.25, somewhat like that number, then it would have rounded that number, and then it would have shown me the what price it actually was. So like that round number works. Now as I don't have values in decimals, that is why it is not showing me in proper way. If I would have any decimal values in this column, in this table, then I would have got that. So these was some of the functions which were like DAX functions, and we can perform these DAX functions and calculate any column. Now let's understand the concept of measure. We are just going to create a simple one measure, and we'll understand its concept. So in the home section here, you can see that we have this new measure option. We will select it, and here in this new measure, same structure you can see it over here, but when we have selected new measure, here new column is not being created, right? So, you can see the change over here, that measure is created. If we will change the name, and same we have to, like how we were writing DAX function, that only we have to do over here, like measure. But measure and calculated columns are different, that we have to keep in our mind. So let's just take numerical, any of the numerical column. This profit 2 I will take, because I am having this profit column over here, and based on that I will calculate some of the things. Let's just take some. It is also showing all the things, like whatever are present, like it is writing a DAX function thing only. So now based on this profit column only I am taking the things. Let's take the sales revenue, and then we have to complete it over here. Then we have to write next function, like what we have to do. This is calculating a measure, not a column. It's like we are calculating one simple one single value. So from sales, now I am going to select, let's take this cost, and then complete a formula. Now these are the two columns I have subtracted, and I am creating a measure. Here you can see that this first, when we saw, it was just a measure. Now as we have changed the name of it, so it is showing me the profit 2, and it has created this measure. Now it cannot be seen in this table. We discussed it in the when we were seeing a PPT, that also we have seen, when we were understanding the difference, that it is stored locally, stored dynamically, right? It cannot be seen, but when we go in a model view in our table, we can see that this profit 2 has been added over here, and it is a measure. We can see it over here. Now if we go in a visualization pane, what we can do is, now as we understood when in the beginning, that Measures are mostly for the totals, counts, somewhat like that. If average you want to remove any number, then, and to best way to represent any of the thing like that, like just a single value, we are using card in our visualization screen. So here in this visualization you can see this is known as card. So I have selected this, and here it is asking me that what I want to see in this. So I will just simply select this profit to, and it is showing me that single value in this card. So what things more I can do with this card we will see in the next video, but this is how we are creating a measure. Measure cannot be seen in our table, we can just see in this table. When we create a measure we can see it if it is created or not in this model view, as well as in the visualizations also we can see. So this is how a measure is being created and how we are performing DAX functions. You will go on your browser and there you will write there, let's see what like how many types of DAX functions are present. If you want to see, then what we can do is Power BI DAX we will write, and let's press enter. What different kinds of DAX functions are present we can see in the documentation. Here what the different kinds of DAX functions are there, how we are going to use, what is the syntax of those DAX functions, that also we can see it over here. Now we have seen date time functions, right? So calendar we have saw, date we have seen, year also we have extracted, right? So these many different kinds of functions are present over here, and if you click on any of it you can see what kind of syntax it has, and it is explained it over here also. So from here also if you read and act according to your requirements, then also you will get it. So that's all for this video. We have learned about DAX functions and measure. What is a measure? Next we will start visualizing and creating a dashboard.